So guys, today's video I wanted to it's actually going to be something I'm going to be doing on a weekly basis, but because we're all in self-isolation, self-distancing, so I thought, why not give you guys a list of movies and box set binge-worthy series that you can watch on Netflix. Later on I will be moving on to things that are outside of Netflix, like BBC iPlayer, ITV, Channel 4, all of those things. But I thought I would do this on a weekly basis, and I'm going to be splitting them up into different categories. Now, today's category, I am doing everything that's on Netflix that I feel like is really funny, that will just lift you up in this just a terrible time where it's just constantly hearing people are dying, and it's just, we need something just to cheer us up, maybe an hour or two. So let's get on with my list of recommendation of comedy movies you should watch on Netflix. So number one, Married to the Mob. Now this movie, right, the leading actress is I don't know her name. Yeah, I don't know her name, but she's Hollywood, okay? She's one of those things that I've seen her around. But it's one of those 1988 movies, and even though I'm a 28-year-old, I have an old soul. I have a love for old movies. I literally go on Netflix, I'll be like, movies from 1980s. I go looking for it. Yeah, I'm one of those people. The reason why I recommend you watching Married to the Mob is because Married to the Mob is basically about this woman. She's married to her husband is part of the mafia crew in the town that they live in. And she's basically sick and tired of the lifestyle. She knows what her husband does. She's not one of those like clueless women that like, oh, my husband works in insurance. No, like she knows her husband kills a couple of people just so they can have like really nice things in a house. And then what happens is that he ends up being murdered by the leader of the mafia crew that he was in. On top of that, this leader of the mafia crew had no idea that the police were also put a surveillance on him. On the day of the funeral, right, with the arrogancy, he ends up kissing the woman who's just lost her husband that he killed, right? And like, he won't leave her alone. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She's sick and tired of the lifestyle, and the leader of the mafia crew don't want to leave her alone. She ends up taking her son. She goes and moves to the city. I'm telling you, when she moves to the city, like the house that she moved into, like it was like, yeah, there was a bathtub in the kitchen, or was it the living room? I remember there was a bath in the kitchen. Yes, it was that bad. Also, on top of that, as I said before, the police are put a surveillance on the mafia leader. They're also putting a surveillance on her because they think she was involved in the murder of her husband. All of that, the police end up surveilling her so bad that they moved into the same apartment block she moved into the city. She ends up falling for this policeman who's spying on her, and this mafia leader, he won't leave her alone. He follows her even up to the city, and then at one point, right, the police arrest her saying, you've got to help us take down this mafia guy, so you're gonna have to go and see him, right, and tell him you like him. So all those words you were saying you don't want anything to do with him, you're gonna have to reverse that. Yeah, that kind of comedy. Number two, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I think I got that correct, right? Yeah, I think I got that correct, the title of the movie. Basically, again, two famous Hollywood actors that I don't know their names. Yeah, but I loved the movie, you guys. It again is a 1989 movies. Your girl loves old movies. I think these are the only two old movies I'm going to be talking about in this like comedy category. It's about two men. One of them is blind and one of them is deaf. Now, they spark a really beautiful friendship, but the issue is they end up being involved in a... They didn't murder anyone, but one of the guys who is deaf ends up like... he works in a store, and one day, like, some guy ends up dead inside the store, and obviously the police come. They're like, well, did you see anything? Like, you work here, like, did you see anything? And he basically says, I didn't see anything, but when I turned around, I saw a lady leaving and she had nice legs. And when his other friend who is blind, when this lady was leaving the store, right, and this guy's lying dead on the ground, when the other guy as well, he's walking into the store, and the lady with the nice legs is leaving, who murdered the guy who's lying dead on the floor, is leaving the store. He says he remembers a very beautiful scent. That's basically what they described to the police. And apparently this guy who's dead on the floor, he left something that was in the store that the lady killed him for. So the lady couldn't locate on him. This killer lady with the nice legs ends up chasing after these two men who are blind and deaf, and basically they're on a run. It is just totally funny. It's just totally funny. The police are just chasing after these two men because they're the ones who murdered this guy, because like they ended up running. Seriously, these two men they ended up running away from the police station. Like, it's just a whole total of funness. I just absolutely I loved it. And it wasn't like taking the mick out of people's disability. It was not one of those movies. It was a really like comedy movie. Number 3, Jimunji, Welcome to the Jungle. Now this is obviously a recent one, again starring some Hollywood actors, starring Kevin Hart, The Rock. Also, I forgot her name. Oh, I don't know a lot of actors' names, do I? And I'm recommending films. It's the girl that she was in Doctor Who. She was the doctor's assistant. And also that other guy, again, he's Hollywood, but I don't know his name as well. Yeah, I need to know a couple of Jack Black. Yes, that's his name, I think. Me and the kids watched it. We absolutely enjoyed it. By the way, I'm holding the baby here, and he's napping. We absolutely enjoyed watching it. You're just gonna love total comedy. Like, it's got Kevin Hart on it. Okay, funny guy. Jumanji is basically a film about these teenage kids who were, I believe they were playing a board game, and then they ended up actually inside the board game in a jungle. The only way they can come back to the real world is if they win the game. Like, if they get killed 3 times, then they die. Like, literally actually dead in the game and in real life. Yeah, like that. It was just comedy upon comedy. It's a remake of the classic Jimunji film, but I will mention it does have like little like creatures, like a couple of one guy's got creatures coming out of his ears and like eyes. Yeah, like that. It's one of those movies, but it's funny though. It's definitely funny. Number 4, Cedric the Entertainer. Now Cedric the Entertainer is a comedian who is basically, he's a legend in the comedy, like stand-up comedy scene. He's a total legend, and he did a stand-up show, and it's on Netflix, the only stand-up show they have of him. And oh my goodness, I've watched it I think maybe 2 or 3 times. It's just really funny. If you understand that American humor, comedy style, then you will absolutely love Cedric the Entertainer. Funny, talks about his kids. To be honest, most comedians talk about their kids anyways, but like he just talks about real life animals. It's entertaining. Watch it, you will crack up. Number 5 is Pointblank. Now it's these 2 actors are actually, they've been in like they've both been in Marvel's Captain America. Yeah, they have. They've both been in Marvel's Captain America. The other guy, the other actor is the one who plays Falcon in the Marvel's like hero characters. And he's a nurse, and he one day what happens. So the guy who's unconscious, he ended up in the hospital because he was in a car accident, and it involved the police actually chasing after him. But this thing is, the guy who's unconscious actually was set up by the police. So his brother actually threatens the male nurse that came into the room to look after him for the first time. His brother kidnaps the nurse's pregnant wife. It's basically calls him up and says, listen, I've got your wife, you need to get my brother out of that hospital now, ASAP. But like, the guy's unconscious, I need to get him out of the hospital. And basically he ends up taking this unconscious guy, giving him, I don't know, morphine, whatever he gave him, just woke him up from the unconsciousness. And they end up basically going on the run, and the police are looking for him. It was so funny, the journey out of the hospital, their journey on the run from the police, and this guy trying to clear his name. At one point they went into the ghetto. So the guy who's unconscious ends up also owed some ghetto gang leader, Big D, His name was, yeah, the gang leader's name is called a Big D. Big D, right? When he comes into the scene, Big D ain't Big D. Like, Big D's short. No offense to short people, because we kept on hearing Big D, Big D. When he finally came into the scene, and it was purposely they went out looking for a shorter guy. And Big D comes with so much character. He was funny, and Big D ends up helping the unconscious guy clear his name and show that these police officers are corrupt. It's just a long story, but it's funny, and it involves a man. When a man is in love and he loves his woman and he wants his woman back, he will do everything. It's like a love story. It's funny. Point Blank. Watch it on Netflix. I hope you guys enjoyed my funny movie recommendations on Netflix. Obviously there's only 5. I mentioned 5, right? I think 5. Yeah. My next recommendation of movies and series that you should watch on Netflix, I am going to go into like dark thriller, not scary movies as in horror, none of that. I'm not about that horror life, like seriously. It's like dark thriller, like action movies. That is on my list. I already made a list of it right now. I'm gonna later on film that video and bring you guys another list of recommendations next week. I will see you guys on my next video. Take care. Bye guys.